March 2023. Please rise if you're able and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing. I ask that you join with the town board in a moment of silence as we remember Bill Wilson, beloved husband of Janice Wilson, who is my chief legislative aide, who passed away last Sunday. They were married for 44 years, and he was an awful good guy. And I know Janice is going to miss him very, very much, and we're going to support you as best we can, Janice. And we know how much you loved him. And in his memory and his honor, let's send our thoughts and prayers and best wishes for healing to Janice and her family. Thank you. Please be seated. Madam Clerk, would you kindly call the roll?
Supervisor Schneiderman.
Present.
Councilwoman McNamara.
Present.
Councilman Martell.
Present.
Councilman Bouvier.
Here.
Councilman Scavone.
Present.
Okay. Thank you for coming out this evening. All right, first order of business, actually, there's 3 additional resolutions that aren't in the packet that I'd like to see if I can add on. The first one is co-sponsored with Councilman Scavone. It is, the docket ID is 42912. It authorizes budget modification to Community Development Block Grant Program for fiscal year 2019. And then 42929 is our 6th warrant, and 42930 terminates an employee in the finance office. So I'll make a motion to walk those 3 on.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Scavone. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? We need 4. Sounds like we had 5, so.
Just to note, the first resolution is co-sponsored with myself and Councilman Bouvier, the community block.
Oh, I am sorry, you're
No,
right.
no
I'm
worries.
not on that one. It's
the resolution that
Councilman,
counts.
I saw JB and I thought JS, so.
Right.
All right, thank you for that. We'll get it right when we pass it.
It's all good.
Okay, next order of business is to approve the minutes. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from our regular town board meeting of March 14th, 2023.
Second.
Second by Councilman Bouvier. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved. All right, Madam Clerk, I'll ask you to read the communications.
We have received the following communications in the office of the town clerk. We have received public notices from the town of East Hampton, Village of North Haven, from the Central Pine Barrens Joint Planning and Policy Commission, notice of completion of a final GEIS for the Central Pine Barrens Comprehensive Land Use Plan amendments. Correspondence was received regarding the following: emails and letters regarding the following: Bel Air Cove Motel, Hampton Bays, cannabis dispensaries and on-site consumption, change of zone application entitled Liberty Gardens, Southampton, change of zone application entitled Preserve at South Country Road, Quiog, CPF acquisition of Marsden Street parcels, Sag Harbor, CPF acquisition of the Steinbeck property, Sag Harbor, land clearing adjacent to Good Ground Park, Hampton Bays, and proposed CPF acquisition of number 2 Main Street, Sag Harbor. The following bid and request for proposals took place on March 15th, 2023, for the 2023 irrigation maintenance and repair for the Parks Department, a rebid for the 2023 water lily removal at Mill Pond for the trustees. March 23rd, an RFQ was received for professional appraisal services for community preservation. And that concludes the communications for this meeting's agenda.
So we will move on to public hearings. We have a number of public hearings this evening, 6 of them in total. This is a hybrid meeting, which means that you can participate if you're here in attendance, and you can also participate from home or an office or other remote location. Charles Certain will be administering, Charles Certain from CTV, the online portion. All speakers will be afforded 3 minutes to make their comments known. We ask that you stick to those 3 minutes. The clerk will let you know when you're approaching the last 30 seconds. And we also ask that you fill out a card if you're here. So if you haven't already done so, they are available out in the hall. Okay, Madam Clerk, would you read the first public hearing notice?
Public hearing number 1, to consider a local law amending Chapter 244, Transfer of Development Rights Certificate Program to acknowledge the inclusion of sanitary flow credits.
All right, David Wilcox, our planning director, is here and will introduce this.
Yeah, good evening, Mr. Supervisor and Town Board. If I could ask, I have 3 hearings. Somehow they got split apart, and it would make more sense to have those 3 hearings concurrently. If you'd like.
Which 3 are they? The first one?
1, 4, and 5. But if you would consider taking 1 out of order and doing 2 and 3 before you got to mine. That would,
Or do you want us to just do 1, 4, and 5 right now? I think we can do that. How long are you gonna be?
I don't think we'll be long at all.
Let's read the 4th, Madam Clerk, and the 5th public hearing notice.
Certainly. Public hearing number 4, to consider a local law amending Chapter 330-7, acknowledging transfer of sanitary flow credits. Public hearing number 5, to consider a local law amending Chapter 330-9, density incentive provision to acknowledge the inclusion of sanitary flow credits.
All right, so now, Planning Director Dave Wilcox.
Okay, so although these are 3 separate town codes, they all are dealing with the same issue. So we're proposing these 3 amendments. One amendment is to Chapter 330-7, which is transfer of development rights. We're also proposing amendments to Chapter 330-9, which is density incentives, and Chapter 244, which is the issuance of town development rights certificates. We're doing these amendments to acknowledge that sanitary flow credits are a component of development rights or property rights that can be removed from one property and transferred to another property. The town has always recognized that sanitary flow are part of the development rights, but we've never formally addressed them in our TDR certificates, and our town codes don't specifically mention sanitary flow. We're trying to get we're looking to get the health department to recognize our TDR programs and our TDR codes and our TDR certificates. And in order to do that, they said that we had to make some amendments, and those amendments are incorporated into the 3 code amendments that were distributed for the hearings. Other development rights that we currently recognize are clearing square footages, housing yield, carriage houses, and old file map square footages. By incorporating sanitary flow credits into our certificates, the health department would be able to recognize those certificates when they get a request from someone that's doing a development that doesn't meet the health department sanitary flow standards, and they need to bring in credits from another property. But before they will formally recognize our certificate program, we have to make amendments to our code. So we proposed these amendments. We sent those off to the county about 2 months ago. We told them we were having the hearing tonight, and of course, they sent their comments this morning. So I haven't had a chance to digest those comments and how substantive they are relative to making further changes to the code. But we would like to do that. Obviously, we don't want to adopt a code that the health department's not going to recognize. So to the extent that we can, we want to incorporate their changes and their comments so that we can be recognized and certified.
So you'd like this adjourned to a later date?
I would propose that we adjourn until we can make any changes that we need to what's in front of you right now, and if necessary, re-advertise it if the changes are substantive. But I think by just simply adjourning, and I spoke with Kathleen Murray today, and she said you could do either, but by adjourning, it kind of keeps the door open If the changes are so substantive that we do have to close this hearing and re-advertise it, we can do that. But if they're not substantive, then we can just reconvene the hearing.
And so I think you had suggested to me May 9th, so like a 2-month, 1.5 month period?
Yeah, I would be here on May 9th. Yeah.
Okay. Can I just ask you, since the hearing is open, is this only prospectively or is it retrospectively too? In other words, the development rights certificates that we have already issued, will they now be eligible as sanitary credit, or only the ones that we issue in the future?
I would say probably prospective, because the health department wants us to specify on the certificate what the gallonage is. I suppose we could go back and reissue the old ones and amend them. If somebody wanted to bring in their old certificate and say, can you add on the sanitary flow that's associated with this property, I would think we could do that. We would just take the old certificate, destroy it, and issue a new one that recognizes the sanitary flow that goes with the property.
Or are we giving them additional value?
Well, that's
then?
what my question would be, is the valuation issue, sanitary.
Well, if they were the original owner, it wouldn't really matter. But I could see the point, if they had sold that right,
Right.
and now you increase the value.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's a
they're
different
right.
bundle of rights that come with that.
Probably
Yeah.
easier to do it prospectively. but-
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we can drill down on that by May 9th.
Mhm.
Wait, I did have one person who indicated they wanted to be heard on this, Amy Paradise.
Oh, it's okay. I hear what's going on. I wanted to be sure I understood. We're good.
Okay,
So I just had one question, Dave.
I have a question.
In what the county has given to you as far as recommendations.
Yeah.
Does
I
it-
literally just got it this
So you
morning,
haven't even
opened it
seen
up.
it yet. So,
I
so the
haven't-
thing to look for is whether they're going to preclude past credits.
They may have
Yeah.
mentioned something like
Okay.
that, and I think
All
that's a
right.
very good point, whether, we should know up front whether we're going to consider that or not.
Yeah. Good.
David, part of this is to help expedite different applications in the health department itself.
Correct.
So if someone currently has a retrospective development right, could they apply to the health department for that flow rate and,
Well,
and do it that way?
I mean, if the health department were reasonable, I would say all they would have to do is contact us and say, we have somebody that wants to redeem an older certificate and use it for sanitary flow. What would the flow be that you would associate with that?
Mhm.
And we could do it by letter to them and say, this is what we would have
Okay.
allocated to it. Those are things that we can
and would that
decide.
cancel out the whole certificate? If the county were to recognize the sanitary flow, they couldn't then come back and say they wanted additional clearing based on the same certificate. that
That's
they-
correct, and that's how the
Even
town
though,
does
in
it.
essence, they had both of those rights on that property to clear and to release sanitary effluent.
The way the town has been doing it is, these certificates are good for one of the bundle of rights. You can use it for clearing, and if you, let's say the certificate's good for 100 square feet of clearing. If you go to the planning board and redeem that, and you transfer that 100 square feet to a property that was over-cleared, that
That
certificate's
swipes out.
That's your value.
gone. If you use it for a carriage house, usually, well, a carriage house, there's no residual. You need a full development right for a carriage house. If you were to use it for, let's say we issue them for 200 gallons of sanitary flow in the future, and somebody wants to use it just for 100 gallons, we would, split that certificate, redeem the 100 gallons, and give a new certificate for the remainder 100 gallons. But you can't use it for sanitary flow and for clearing and for a carriage house.
One
Once
from-
you use it for one of the options, it's done.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And the health department, I did see that in their comments.
Yeah.
They wanted to be sure that you couldn't, so to speak, double dip on
Double
these
dip,
things.
that's
Okay.
my
Right,
concern
right.
too, yeah.
Yeah, me too, yeah.
All right. We'll see you in May.
Okay?
So, all right. So,
Yeah, I mean,
nobody
check it
else
out.
from the audience wanted to speak on this. Charles, and this always gets confusing if you're watching online. We are entertaining comments on the first, the fourth, and the fifth public hearing, not the second, the third, or the sixth. So, it really has to do with these development rights certificates. If that's why you wanted to speak, we can hear you out, but just on that topic. So just click the raise hand icon.
See no hands.
Okay, I'll make a motion to adjourn to May 9th.
Second?
Second by Councilman Scavone, all in favor?
Aye.
I need you to close them all individually.
No.
All right,
Yeah.
so, so they're not closing any of them, so I.
Oh, I'm
that was-
sorry, adjourning to
Also,
the
that
ninth,
was a
correct.
motion to adjourn the first one, seconded by Councilman Scavone, and we voted. I'll now make a motion to adjourn the fourth public hearing to May 9th. Same second, all in
Second.
favor, same
Aye.
vote.
Aye.
And the fifth, same motion, same second, all in favor.
Aye.
Okay?
Thank
Sunny?
you. Excellent.
Okay. Madam Clerk, would you now read the second public hearing notice?
Certainly. Public hearing number 2, to consider amending Town Code, Chapter 312, Vehicles and Traffic, to authorize the installation of stop signs at 2 intersections in the hamlet of Spionk-Remsenburg.
Okay, and to introduce this, Assistant Town Attorney Sean Cambridge.
Good evening, Mr. Supervisor and members of the town board. As you know, we receive a lot of these requests to add stop signs in various areas of the town. In this instance, between this being calendared and the safety checks, our police department actually came back and said they do not recommend supporting this change. This would be for stop sign at Southwind Road and Seatuck Lane South and Seatuck Lane and Driftwood Drive East. They said it just complicates the traffic patterns. It does not add to traffic safety. Our town engineer actually agreed with that assessment as well, as did our highway department. So this one looked great on paper. No one's supporting it now that it's on the floor. So Resolution 2023-490 is on tonight. I would recommend, if this board's inclined to follow all these recommendations, that you vote that down or withdraw tonight. I have nothing further on this.
Yeah, we've had discussions about this with the same group, so I understand what you're saying, and I agree.
It's on page 49.
49.
Okay. Thank you, Sean.
Thank you.
Any questions for Sean? It's a public hearing. I still have to allow the public to comment. Is there anybody who wanted to be heard at public hearing number 2, authorizing the installation of 2 stop signs, installation of stop signs, at 2 intersections in the hamlet of Spionk-Remsenburg? Nobody? Okay, online, Charles, do we have anybody indicating they wish to be heard?
No hands.
Okay, I'll give it one more moment.
Still, no hands.
Okay, I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Martell, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, Madam Clerk, would you read the third public hearing notice?
Public hearing number 3, to consider the acceptance of an agricultural and scenic easement and a drainage easement in connection with the subdivision application of M4 Lumber Holdings LLC, Bridgehampton.
All right, Deputy Town Attorney Christine Scalera will introduce this.
Good evening, Supervisor, members of the board. For your consideration is the acceptance of an open space parcel totaling approximately 7.5 acres, inclusive of the bulk of 2 drainage easements, on an approximate 15-acre site in connection with the cluster subdivision plan for M4 Lumber Holdings LLC, formerly known as 820 Lumber Lane. I have a picture of the subdivision map. The green is representative of the open space, and then the pink is the outline for the drainage easement. The map is located in the CR 80 zoning district, in an agricultural overlay district, the Aquifer Protection Overlay District, and is listed on the Community Preservation Fund priority list as an agricultural land priority. It is located in the hamlet of Bridgehampton and is further identified on the Suffolk County Tax Map as number 951-1-4. The final application, as you can see, consists of a cluster plan with 4 lots with an average lot size of 129,779 square feet, and then the 5th lot of agricultural reserve, which, as I stated, is about 7.5 acres. The current configuration, which I know is unusual because it has the drainage going through the easement, and the provision for those 2 drainage areas was recommended by the Engineering Division and the Conservation Board as best utilizing the natural topography of the property to accommodate the north-south watershed that impacts the property. If the board is so inclined, at the end of this, I would recommend closing the public hearing, and I'll put on a resolution for next agenda. And if you have any questions, obviously, Planner Anthony Trez is with me as well.
The drainage easement is in favor of who? The town?
The town.
We'll keep it, and this is the portion that coincides, like the green space does go up here, this is the way it was planned. So, but it extends into, oh, sorry, it extends into the fourth lot.
You can go back to the microphone and we'll follow you.
It extends into the fourth lot, and then comes across, forms that V, and then the upper portion that you see, which is in pink, which is still the drainage easement, but it's going against a private lot. And the builder, actually, I believe, is going to be the lot owner for Lot 1, so it'll be on his lot.
And so the ag easement is the one to the right, the L?
Is the green. Everything in green
Oh,
is.
everything in green.
Yeah.
So which is the scenic easement?
There's no scenic easement, it's an agricultural easement.
Green.
Agricultural and scenic.
It's cultural, yeah, okay, it's
It
cultural.
says agricultural
Sorry.
and scenic easement.
It's one and the
a
same.
drainage.
The agricultural and the scenic is one and the same.
I'm not used
Sorry.
to them being the same, so, because there's different rules apply to scenic easement versus agricultural easement. So typically in a scenic easement, be very limited in terms of their ability to cut things down and move things around, whereas ag easements, they can farm it. And so do you know what it is on the green pieces?
I believe it's gonna be both. It's gonna be I think it's active, there's active farms on both sides. There's vacant here, there's protected there. So I believe it's supposed to, the wording will be inclusive of both, if that's the way it was supposed to be.
It's
in the
tricky,
plan.
because
Yeah.
like farms like to put deer fencing around them and hedges sometimes, and
So
and
these
it
are,
would conflict with a scenic easement, which might be,
They had a question come up.
yeah, I mean, I'd just like a little bit of description of what it is.
Sure, so
we're not gonna be,
Anthony, you guys stand up.
so this has been going on for, not my project, so I didn't review it.
Chris, you
but
can point while he describes if you want.
This has been a number of iterations over the course of, I would say, 12 years. This application has been pending. Previously, it was 7 or 8 lots with a less area of open space, and then it went through change of ownership, and then other issues came up during the most recent. So what the planning board did was, in discussion with
Back
conservation.
to the mic.
What I do at planning is constantly, point at maps. The idea was to create, basically, a box of what's going to be ag, by the way. That there is going to be an agricultural easement attached to it that would allow for agricultural uses spelled out. And actually, the language is already done. The idea was that L shape, it sort of connects, there's some open space to the south. There's also open space basically surrounding the property. So the idea was to just try to create an easily configured piece of ag land that could be easily farmed, giving its configuration. In this particular case, we had to get, or the applicant had to get an hydrogeologist to do a full-blown analysis of the water flow on this property. And at the end of this, what happened was the second component became drainage easements that had to be incorporated into this as well.
That was my question. Can you just quickly describe what that drainage system is? It's subterranean, or is it through a leaching field, or how is that?
Does it connect to a sump from Lumber Lane, or?
We actually, the applicant's attorney is also here and maybe could answer more of those specific questions in terms of the geology of it. Brian Lucasio is in the audience if
I
you
mean,
want.
just to getting to the
come up.
supervisor's point,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know.
No, that's fair. If you want Brian to come up and,
We get a lot of water in the area coming off of the fields and.
So Brian, I do have you down as a card to speak at this, but it's fine.
Yeah, okay. Brian Lucas with the Adam Miller Group, attorney for the applicant. So there's going to be a series of culverts at each of the crossings of the common driveway, kind of where they open up. This was designed to sustain a 100-year storm. So the overlay of the pink within the ag easement was kind of to prevent, one, any structures from going within there, like we can't put a barn to disrupt the water flow, and also to prevent us from manipulating the soils, the grade, to allow for kind of what's there now. There's up where Scuttle Hole Road is actually a culvert that comes across the road, that comes up the hills, Brick Hill Road. And when this was originally approved back in 2017, there was only this easement. And when we brought in our engineers to do an actual water analysis, we determined that there's more water coming in from the western side, which is kind of the reverse funnel, and that's in line with the natural flow. And we did our best to kind of let Mother Nature go, and that's why we created the finger, I'll call it. So there's going to be no fee owner of that land. It's going to remain open space, protected by the easement, and
So maybe a question, Christine, are we responsible for the maintenance of the culvert and system? Because it's got sediment sumps and things, or is that the applicant?
it's the applicant. You reserve the right to come in if it is not maintained, but it's the applicant. There are conditions of the, before we can get a building permit or sell up any of these lots, we actually have to put in the drainage systems and the subsurface of the driveway. So the drainage features will be in place before anything is done here.
And it'll be the landowner, the town won't be a landowner in any way, so we're not responsible.
Correct.
Just for the public.
You reserve the right, though, if you know.
Sure. If there's a problem, we can step in.
What's the street this is on?
Lumber Lane.
Oh, it is on Lumber, okay.
You mentioned Scuttle Hole Road. Where is Scuttle Hole Road
Scuttle
in
Hole
relation?
is, so there's the Amaryllis farm right next to us to the north, and then there's a cluster of 3 or 4 houses, and then Scuttle Hole Road, it's
There's an aerial at the bottom, so you can.
1,000 feet approximately.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
This has to be either farmed or mowed annually, so it's going to be an open field view. It's kind of overgrown over the years, all this has been in review, but it's the intent is to allow that to be farmed.
Okay.
So it has a.
Or a scenic open.
The structure has a weight limit and all the rest of.
Correct,
all
yep,
that
yeah, it's all
stuff.
been engineered. It's quite a lot of, the applicant put a lot of time and money into designing the system once, it had a further review with the town engineer and the Conservation Board.
That's good, because there's a lot of water that moves through
Yeah,
this
and
area.
exactly, there are a lot of concerns, so that we kind of did the worst case scenario, and this can sustain that.
All right, thank you, Brian.
Of course, thank you.
All right, so, other than Brian's card, I didn't have any other cards for this. Is there anyone else from our audience who wishes to be heard at this hearing, considering this agricultural and drainage easement? I didn't think so. Charles, we're gonna go online. Is there anybody who's watching the meeting remotely who wishes to be heard at this hearing on this Bridgehampton Lumber Lane ag easement, conservation easement as part of a 4-lot subdivision? All right, I'll make, we can close it, right?
Yes,
Chris?
I recommend
Make a
closing
motion to
it.
close the hearing,
Second,
seconded by Councilman Scavone, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right,
no comments on drainage easements?
moving along rapidly, all right. So, we're gonna go to the sixth public hearing. Madam Clerk, would you read the notice?
Public hearing number 6 is combined secra zone change public hearing for the application entitled The Preserve at South Country Road for a change from CR 40 to multi-family planned residential district, MFPRD, on a 17-acre parcel proposing development of 104 units, 6 units per acre of affordable rental housing in the hamlet of Quiog.
Okay, and is it senior planner, Michelangelo?
Senior planner.
All right, I gotta remember everybody's titles.
It's all right.
The names are hard enough, but figure out
Got
the
the pronunciation correct, so.
All right, so Michelangelo Lieberman, senior planner.
Yeah, so I'm here to introduce this. Obviously, this is a renotice of a hearing you've already had. There was a mailing issue. Janice will be here shortly, but I have an applicant who's eager to get up here and hit some of his talking points, so I'm going to turn it over to John.
Thank you. Well, this is John Bennett, the applicant, and John Schneider from NRP Group, the applicant, is here as well. You've all seen this presentation before, but this is an amended, or rather a continued hearing for both the zone change and the secret process. And NRP seeks a change of zone from CR 40 to multi-family planned residential district, MRP FD, to establish affordable housing development in Quiog, 100% affordable housing. There's a very, very quick history. A request for a preliminary work session in connection with this application was filed with the board in November 2019. Public work sessions were held in March and November of 2020. By resolution dated April 13th, 2021, the board elected to consider the NRP Group's change of zone application. A formal application was filed in August 2021. A pause deck under seeker was adopted and public scoping sessions were held, and a final scope for preparation of a DIS was adopted in March 2022. The DEIS was submitted in July 2022, and we're here this evening for public comment. The FBIS is essentially complete except for the comments from this evening. Then a public hearing was held on November 22nd, 2022 in connection with the requested zone change applications and for comments on the DEIS. So this is a continuation of that public hearing. Again, it's a 100% affordable project in Queog. Just very, very thumbnail, because again, the purpose for this hearing is for public input. Total number of units, as Ms. Schumer read out, 104. There are 41 bedroom units, 48 two-bedroom units are proposed, and 16 three-bedroom units. All units will be affordable units and will be rented in accordance with the affordable unit rates as set by the town. Again, these are really ballpark numbers because it changes and it's subject to the law, but at present a one bedroom would cost somewhere between $700 plus or minus a month, and the three bedroom about $3,000 a month. But these are ballpark figures. As you all know, these change and or have to meet the statutory language in any event. So they are what they are, but I just wanted to give you a general feeling of the cost. That's really all I have.
Questions for Mr. Bennett?
Yeah, actually, I got a few, if you don't
Sure.
mind.
If I can answer them, or John or I can answer them. so go
Well,
ahead.
you know, just going through the Suffolk County Planning Commission report, I know
I've seen
that
it.
you've put that on, you've seen that. And
Yeah, I've seen
and
that.
responding to that, I think the project is.
Local determination.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's got actually quite a bit of comment from
Those
them.
comments are the comments that the commission received.
Yes.
Yeah, but that
Yeah.
doesn't mean that they're not the comments of the commission.
I'm just wondering if you've addressed those comments or
No,
reviewed
no.
them or
No.
discounted them.
Nope.
Okay.
Those are comments that were received as part of the application. The bottom line from the planning commission is that it's a matter for local determination. As a matter of course, they catalog the comments that they've received. So
Yeah.
no, we haven't responded.
Understood, but I'm just wondering if anything jumped out at you.
No, I think we've responded to all those comments in the application process
All right.
already. We had anticipated all of them.
So I have a series of questions here. I'm not sure I want to waste the board's time with this. Maybe we could, I guess I can do it now. I was just wondering if you've considered, when I walk the property, I see that there's a topo issue there. And I realize that if you have, trying to meet the 25% open space, how you're going to arrange that where, you know, if you push it over towards the trailer park, the mobile home park, it gets very close and it gets really tight in there. And I'm wondering if you guys have considered allowing for better open space, but instead of being sort of pushed over to that side, because I see parking and things like that are an issue. And I don't know if you've thought about that. If you'd like, I
We're
could.
satisfied with the plan, but, I mean, if obviously we're gonna, if you have comments, we'll address them.
All right, and then I think a lot of this has been from the planning board as well, and there's some comments that
Some
that
comments
you
from the
guys
planning board, yep.
respond to on that. All right, let's see.
Again, just in the process, you know, if you have, if the board has additional comments, specific comments, we'll address them.
Well,
But
the
this is-
biggest
the
comment
purpose for
that
this
I-
is a public hearing for the public.
The biggest comment I'm getting is the density of the project. And I think we would have more likelihood to go forward if we could reduce that density where it would make sense, where you can do that. So that's
well,
a comment I'm just gonna bring forward, and I know you're probably gonna hear from the community in this regard.
We're comfortable with the density, but of course, we're gonna have to respond to any significant comments and give our rationale. It's interesting, I was contemplating some of the secret aspects of it, and this is an opportunity to provide for housing that makes sense from a cost point of view. And it reminded me of it's an old early seeker case called the Chinese staff workers case, And in that case, interestingly enough, there was some development that was happening in downtown Manhattan that was going to remove affordable housing. And the Court of Appeals sent it back to the city of New York because the city hadn't addressed the impact that the development was going to have on affordable housing. So it's interesting, workforce housing and affordable housing is part of the beneficial environmental impact that's been identified under the seeker process.
No, understood, John. I'm
also
I'm trying to
units-
respond to comments that I've
Yeah.
gotten from the community so that I can
understand.
put those up front and so that you can
And I
you can
appreciate
respond
that.
to them.
And I appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm a firm believer in workforce housing. We clearly need it in this town. I think there's ways that this project could be made better. The biggest comment I'm getting is reduction in density, and these are just suggested ways that could be done. I think I'll leave it at
The
that.
real harsh reality of it all, and we might as well get it on the table, and you guys are going to have to struggle with it, is that at a certain point, if the density is reduced, the project doesn't make sense. And I'm sure you know that. We've said that before.
Well, not necessarily. I mean, we've had success where we've reduced density in response to community. I can look at several projects that we've had across the town where that's been successful, so I wouldn't take that as a given personally.
It's all sort of sui generis in terms of the value of the property, the size of the property, and other impacts. But these are things we'll struggle with, and I understand, John.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, in some of those cases, that additional subsidies had to be brought in from the state or other entities to make the numbers work because of that reduction in density. But I'm just curious what the density is next door. I see there's a mobile home facility on a pretty narrow strip of property. I don't know how many units per acre that is, but what's being proposed here is 6 units an acre, which is much less dense than the neighboring property.
I can't help saying it's also much less than the governor's thoughts, which we're all horrified by. I hope everyone agrees with that.
But that was, I think, 15 units per acre within half a mile of a train station.
Then she's down to 15 now. Okay, that's good.
Well, in that respect too, I know you guys haven't had much success in trying to get them to use an STP or the STP that you're proposing.
Yeah, that ship has sailed because we tried, we were rebuffed, and then the plant that has been designed for it now doesn't allow for it. I mean, that was specific conversations we had with the town, and we're told, go ahead. We tried to get them, that would be a lot of infrastructure to put in there, and I guess they decided not to do it.
In terms of density, this was originally proposed at, I think, 180 units.
Yeah, it was a lot higher.
And then it was dropped down to, it's a 17-acre property, so it was dropped down to
big parcel.
100. We said that we would allow it to move forward at 104, at least to the public hearing, and solicit public comments, which we did at the first hearing, and we'll do that again today. Jim, maybe this is a technical point. John, you described this as a continuation of the public hearing. Is this a continuation? Is it a reopening of the hearing? What is it?
Yeah,
Is it a
slightly
new
unusual
hearing?
because it was
Is
written-
everything that was said at the first hearing incorporated?
Yes,
into it?
absolutely.
Yes, incorporated by
absolutely,
reference,
yeah,
yes.
absolutely, yeah.
It's not de novo.
And and you recall, it's actually adjoined, it's really a hearing on the draft environmental impact statement and the changes on. Obviously, that's kind of tied into each other, but that was, with the first hearing, this is essentially a continuation of that hearing.
Because we had closed it. We have to reopen it
We
for kind of
reopened it because
technicality?
there were concerns that
There
were
were,
expressed
if
about
I
the
may,
notice.
there were a couple of concerns about notice, which I didn't think were at all jurisdictional, and I can bore you with the case law that says they're not jurisdictional. But I didn't want to to be very blunt, I didn't want to give an objectant a possible layup, so we just renoticed it.
Like a technical flaw, yeah.
Right.
I didn't think that they were at all fatal, and I have 4 cases, appellate division cases here, that say that they're not, but just clear the issue out, and we just renoticed it.
Okay.
What is the carve-out? On the map,
Up
on the top.
up
On Old
Road,
Country.
That little rectangle.
I don't know, what is that, John? Do we know?
It's
Is
another
that not
lot.
part of our ownership?
Janice knows.
But there's stuff.
Oh, it's the sanitary area?
No, it's, you're merging that.
Mer-
Oh, it's a separate
Okay.
lot. Oh, it says this is based upon the tax
It's just a
map, so
different
this is
lot.
Okay.
an adjoining map. Thank you.
Thank
I'm
you.
sorry, I should have had a quicker answer for that, Cindy, I'm sorry.
Been a while.
I
Yeah, it's been
just,
a while.
you know, in the process of getting there, I mean, there've been several suggestions and things to do, use East Lane, those kinds of things. And I'm just want to be sure that you guys are willing to work with us to do get some of these things incorporated into this if it's going to be, you know, successful at all.
We
I'm
got
just
some
trying to
site-
speak for my constituents here in the area of the CAC West in particular.
We got some site comments that were sort of more in the line of site plan comments from the planning board, and, you know, we can work with the board on that. I mean, you're writing the ticket, so we have to work with you.
All right.
so.
What I wanted to hear. Thanks,
Well, I
John.
mean,
All right,
As long as
any
it still makes sense, that's what we'll do.
Other
Well,
questions? for-
Yeah.
that's the fun part, right?
Yep. Yes, it is.
Any other questions for Mr. Bennett? Thank you, John. Okay, go to the public, I believe.
Did-
Okay, I have a number of cards. I will take them in the order they were received. I will remind speakers once again that we afford you 3 minutes to make your comments known, and we alert you when you're down to your last 30 seconds. So Michelle Thompson is my first speaker.
Good evening, dear Town Board. I have never spoken before an assembly such as this, and so I just want to, ahead of time, make sure that you know that all of my statements are with due respect. I just am trying to share with you some concerns that I have, and now that I've heard how the tenor of this room is, I just wanted to say that to you.
If
So
you could
to-
please state your name for the record.
Michelle Thompson, please.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Dear members of the town board, I want to share with you a few facts that you may not know about South Country Road. To begin, I don't think that you know that during the warm weather months, South Country Road is used by youngsters on quads and motorcycles almost from morning to night. They are unsupervised, they are not wearing helmets, and their goal is to achieve as high a speed as possible as they perform tricks. I do not think these kids are savvy to the dangers they will encounter with an additional 150 to 200 fast-moving vehicles on this small road. Also, the western end of South Country Road empties 6 lanes of traffic onto Montauk Highway. Have any of you ever tried to cross Montauk Highway at that intersection? I have, and let me tell you, it's frightening, and it's dangerous, that goes without saying. The kids living in the new apartments may be coming home to empty apartments because their parents are working. They are going to walk back to school or into town to hang out with their friends. Ladies and gentlemen, before you allow those kids to cross that road, I suggest that you give it a try so you will know what I am talking about. The same road on the opposite end has Quag Wildlife, which has programs going on from early morning into the night. The population crossing that road ranges from small, skittish children to seniors. So up and down the entire length of that road, from beginning to end, people of all ages are being placed in danger because of the additional cars. And those cars are moving at 50 miles an hour. I know that because I live there. Now, what about the environmental impact of this project, which is scarcely mentioned in the developer's proposal? Ladies and gentlemen, do you know that the 15 acres of wood slated to be cut down house a bird species that is considered endangered? I know this because I'm a member of the Eastern Long Island Audubon Society.
30 seconds.
The developer's proposal mentions the relocation of animals, which I guess is a euphemism for more dead deer and squirrels on the road and more cars being damaged when they come into contact with the relocated animals. We are living in an environmental crisis that science says can be reversed with trees. Tree planting efforts are taking place all over this country, and we're cutting ours down.
3 minutes.
Lastly, ladies and gentlemen, I know the people who will be affected by the traffic, the raised woods, the noise, the light pollution, the diminishing services of police and ambulance and firefighters. I have walked down the roads of Corwin and Jennifer and Deborah, and I have knocked on every single door because I want to know what the people in my neighborhood think about this project. And they are, as you can well imagine, most of them are pretty upset. They feel that their needs are being given short shrift when compared to the people who don't even live there. These people have invested their savings and their dreams in this neighborhood. It is not about being opposed to low-cost housing. It is about the gains of an outsider with an almost complete disregard for the needs of the existing community.
You have to, I'm sorry, you have to finish up. It's not that I don't want to hear what you have to say.
One more
but
sentence.
You're well beyond the 3 minutes.
Okay.
So, one more.
It is about lowering the values of our homes, saturating our already limited public resources, and creating a disastrous, dangerous situation. Thank you.
Can I just ask you that what's the bird species that you referred to earlier?
You know what? I left that out because I was afraid of the time, but if you, I can tell you the name of it. When I go home, I'll look it up and I'll let you know.
Okay. Thank you. Well, don't be, you know, that's part of the secret review, you know, habitat, obviously, so.
Yeah. I contacted Cornell Labs and the Audubon Society to ask them about that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, there was a full EIS on this.
Yep.
All right, next up is Barbara Weber Floyd.
Good evening. The name's Barbara Weber Floyd. I live at 67 South Country. I am asking the town board to deny the zoning change until all the grave concerns about the negative impacts of this project have been addressed. They were definitely not addressed in the draft environmental impact statement. Each time a negative impact is mentioned, it is glossed over by either emphasizing how great the need is for affordable housing or given a ridiculous answer, such as stating that some of the new residents might volunteer for the fire department and that would mitigate the strain on the service, or ignoring the combined traffic impact of this project with all the other new developments in the area, including the 33 acres for sale on South Country. I have read the planning board's report and I watched the video of their meeting and their responses to the DEIS. Every member of the planning board expressed concerns about the design and size of the project and felt the estimated numbers are too low. These are the same concerns that we, the residents, have been articulating for over a year. These concerns include only one access road with all traffic onto South Country, inadequate number of parking spaces, not enough amenities for a community this size, and low estimates for traffic, intersection accidents, school-age children, and overall number of people and vehicles. The planning board estimated the number of people was a potential of 355, not the 250 that the DEIS states. The same was true with the 33 school-age children, and it was mentioned that the estimate for Spion Commons was 4 children, but the actual number is 12. Spion Commons has 38 apartments. This proposal has 104. The following are just a few of their comments. Quote, "These are huge numbers. We're talking about a tremendous amount of density. Even by conservative estimates at the low end of 250 new residents, it would mean a population increase of 46%. I have never seen a project that would so dramatically increase the population of one hamlet such as this one. If we think the projections are too low and the system can't support it, then you have to have fewer apartments." And their referral document to the board states, quote, "Given this existing rural population density of Quiog, limitations in emergency services, and the lack of community amenities, The town board should require a project with a reduction in density in efforts to maintain consistency with the existing character of the hamlet. The bottom line is this project is too big, and the negative impacts on our neighborhood will be too great. An alternative of 96 units is not an alternative because it is still too large for the infrastructure of this hamlet. For all these reasons, this zoning change should be denied. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, Susan Santora.
I think it's all been said by these two ladies.
Okay, you can pass. Emily Sands is next.
Good evening. Emily Sands, I'm the chair of CAC West. I reside in Spionk. On behalf of CAC West, we'd like to express our concerns regarding the proposed affordable housing development, the preserve at South Country Road. Our concerns are the potential topography impacts with close to 12 acres that will be initially cleared, the potential impacts of increased stormwater runoff, which we have experienced for years with Spionk Commons, the loss of wildlife, the displacement of wildlife due to the clearing that will be required with the proposed change, the impact of proposed development that will increase traffic throughout the community, as well as on-site demand for parking and space necessary to accommodate it to a total of 226 parking spaces. The proposed estimate for the preserve at South Country estimates there's going to be 250 people moving into the development. We all know that's a very conservative number. The increase in need of resources and services that will be necessary, fire, ambulance, police, needs to be addressed, as well as the projected costs of this increase to meet the demands of this development. The other impact of this project, with another conservative number, is the estimated 33 school-age children with the local school district. However, in previous impact studies with local affordable housing developments, the estimated amount of school-age children was proven to be inaccurate. The town board should anticipate more school-age children and require realistic pilot payment or reduce the overall density of this project so that taxpayers are not impacted. We ask the town board to ensure that affordable housing is spread throughout the town, as it was recommended in the town's community housing plan, and where housing on the east side of the canal is a higher priority. We also ask that the town conduct a full analysis of affordable housing stock throughout the town so that there is a better management and planning system and a balance throughout the town and growth management. Also consider the village units that are increasing the density within the area. We respectfully ask the town to consider reduced density for this development similar to Spionk Commons and Sandy Hollow. We understand the importance of providing affordable housing options, but we believe it's crucial to balance this with the needs of the surrounding community and the environment. We urge you to work closely with CAC West and other community stakeholders to develop a plan that minimizes the potential impacts of our community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, John Bennell? John? I might be saying the last name wrong. John Bennell? Somebody with a similar name?
Any Johns? Any Johns? Any other Johns?
All right, we can come back. Michelle and Sandy Carbone?
We agree with everybody else in this process. We do live about. Sorry. We live about half. Sorry. We live about half a mile from this project.
I think that John Bennell is John Bennett. Do you not cross your T's? You're a lawyer and you didn't cross your T's? You're supposed to dot your I's and cross your T's.
You want to speak?
Anyway.
No,
Mr. Bennett?
okay.
No, he doesn't get it. He already spoke.
Michelle and I actually are born and raised in the area. We were actually both born in Riverhead. Both went to Quag Elementary School, but both went to West Ham Beach High School. So we know the area very, very well.
We're born and raised in Quag.
Yes. The bottom line is everybody did a great job. The density is way too high. The amount of school children that they have projected is way too low. It's probably going to be in the 60s or 70s because obviously I think all these workhouse people have a lot of kids. So that's going to put a strain on our school. It's going to put a strain on West Ham Beach High School. It's going to increase all our taxes, all the Southampton taxes, especially West Ham Beach taxes, especially Quiog taxes. It's going to put a strain on the fire department. It's going to put a strain on all the facilities in the area. It's going to put a strain on the village facilities. It's just the density is way too high, and it's going to affect all our lives. It's not going to affect anybody else's life in Southampton town or in any other area. It's going to affect the Quiog people's lives, and that's where we live.
It's just a small hamlet. It's not Quogue, it's not West Ham Beach. We just reap the rewards of those. But it's this big.
Yeah.
So it's amazing to stuff something like that so large in such a small hamlet. But the only thing that I want to make a point of is we live in Quantuck Bay Lane, and
which is up here.
Carwin, the houses, the amount of houses that
Carwin.
were put there, they're all walking their dogs in our neighborhood, and they don't pick up their poop. Imagine what's going to happen when they start with all those houses.
104 other homes.
It's just ridiculous how much of
and 250 plus
hindrance just those houses are.
Yeah, I mean this is a massive piece of property. We do not agree with changing the zoning. It should be CR 40 like it is now. It's the density is way too high, and I don't even think you can get the density low enough to make it comfortable or even make sense with with what it's going to strain is going to put on the community. And the fire department and the school. I mean, the schools now, West Ham Beach has increased the school size majorly just to accommodate all the other people that have come in. Now it's going to probably have to put another addition on and another bond, and they're running out of property.
I think it should be spread out just like other recommendations.
I do too. I think that's a great idea.
Way too many.
I mean, they're trying to stuff as much as they can in this area here to accommodate the workforce housing, and we agree with workforce housing.
Definitely.
Don't get us wrong. But
we're in real estate.
Yes.
We own Carbone Real Estate in Quogue. We try to help. We have a number of houses that we purchase as well, and we have rented them out to a number of people that are fire department people and
Yes.
so on and so forth, teachers and all.
And I
sorts.
can't picture a $3,000 a month apartment being a workforce and or affordable housing. That's a lot of money. That's $36,000 just for housing. And the way inflation is, it's just, I can't picture $3,000 being a fair number for workforce housing. And they need that $3,000 to pay for these bills and make money. So, that's a lot of money.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. And ladies.
All right, Amy Paradise, did you want to speak on this one?
Hello, my name is Amy Paradise, and no, I don't live in Quiog. I live in Hampton Bays. I read about this in the newspaper. My personal response was, wow, they reduced the density by a half. They've got 5 acres of open space. It's next to major roads already, so the changes that are needed for traffic and everything ought to be manageable. And we've got to stop using the fire departments and the schools as excuses to avoid affordable housing. It's something you plan for. And I'm sorry, we need kids. The average age of the population out here is like 45. We need more kids. They've got to go somewhere. And Hampton Bays, believe me, I know about the school taxes. 2/3 of my bill is school tax. I'm paying it already. And I wish they'd done something like this in our place. This is a good model for what they should be doing in the middle of Hampton Bays. Just about like this, just about the right size. We gotta stop, people. We gotta stop saying no. And I was born and raised out here too. I remember when there were no houses on my block. Five houses in the wintertime and the rest of it was empty. We have to find the heart to change. This isn't really bad. I know the laundromat there. I remember, I know the corner where it is. I think it's kind of good. Yeah, maybe tweak it, you know, with your open space comments and things. 104 units is pretty good for what you're doing. It's like you said, 6. Traditionally, what do we have around us? A house on 1/3 of an acre. 3, so you've doubled the density. That's not bad. My 2 cents.
Thank you, Amy.
Thank you.
Okay, those are the cards that I have. I realize there might be people who didn't fill out cards, but we're gonna go next online and see if there's anybody online who wishes to be heard. That's sort of why we do these hybrid meetings, to make it more convenient. Quiog is a bit of a hike to get here, so there might be some people who decided to weigh in remotely.
Andrea Porto.
You know, is one thing that drives me crazy is people doing this while they're driving. You know, I'm a big fan.
She pulled over.
I am a big fan of.
She pulled over.
She pulled over.
I'm a big fan of public input. I get nervous, though, that somebody's gonna get into an accident, so. What is your name?
I'm not driving, I'm pulled over. My name is Andrea Porto.
Okay, and I get it. People have busy lives, and these things sometimes run over, but.
Okay. I live at 3 Carwin Lane. We purchased our home in June 2022. It was our dream home. We were very excited to move out. It's very peaceful. It's a very quiet street. We have amazing neighbors. We have lovely wildlife. It was a critical factor when we purchased our home that there would be woods across the street. It was our understanding that the wooded area would remain in place and the area would remain quiet. We recently learned that there are plans to construct a multifamily housing in that very plot of land across from our house, and that the units will be constructed for workforce individuals. Of course, we are sensitive to the housing needs of the workforce, employees, and the services they provide for the greater community. That's vital for our town and our neighbors. That being said, we purchased our home less than 1 year ago under the assumption that the area across from our house would remain vacant. The town had plenty of opportunity to alert us. We did not receive a letter. We did not know of a hearing in November. We didn't even get a registered letter that some other neighbors had gotten. From our perspective, this seems very disingenuous. At an absolute minimum, we insist on the following, please. The trees directly across from our house should remain intact. There are birds, there's wildlife. No entrance to any new development should be coming from Carwin Lane. The number of units should be capped to 50. And the development should not proceed without the approval of the majority of the households on Carwin Lane, who all recently moved in, expecting that the wooded area that they see when they look out their windows would be preserved. With all due respect for the woman from Hampton Bays, she does not live on Carwin Lane. She does not live in Quiog. And with all due respect for the woman in Quantuck Bay, when I walk my fluffy brown dog, I do pick up.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Janice, can you just show me where
knew that was
Quantuck
coming.
Lane is? Carwin.
This is Carwin.
right
Carwin,
there, east
Carwin,
way.
because I drive this every day. Carwin used to be a huge meadow where you used to see turkeys and
This was
deer
recently
every
subdivided
morning.
and sold, and then
just
individuals
built.
are building
All right,
homes.
and then in terms of the, she was under the false impression, I guess, that there was open space across from her. It was a developable lot, but in the development plan, is there a wooded buffer along Carwin?
Yes.
It looks like it's a significant.
But it's only like 50 feet, but the topography here really doesn't, you could really redesign some of this to offset and put a little more wooded buffer.
Right now, there's a 50-foot buffer.
It says area to remain natural, and this is really cleared because this area is like being used sort of for drainage, so it's still getting cleared. But the topography, it's like at that old sand mine type of use.
It used to be a
It's
beautiful.
sand. It really is lovely
right?
woods. I would recommend staying off this.
Should this be approved, though, by the zone change? They still go to the planning board, right? And the planning board would, or is it?
Well, I mean, at this stage, we're looking at the impacts, and you're kind of doing that. And the planning board gave you some input. They said they want us 25% set. This is a multifamily plan residential development, and that means that it's a cluster, which means you're supposed to provide 25% open space. so we were thinking maybe, we gave you a little schematic of where that could be, which is the undisturbed area here. And then if you kind of clustered it over and we worked with this to keep it natural, then the Carwin Lane folks would still have a fair amount of woods. It's a fair distance.
But from a sort of environmental justice perspective, what about the
I'm sorry,
properties?
do you see from here, what's the distance between Carl, how much of the woods would be protected under the current plan?
Sir, you're gonna have to just wait until I'm finished asking questions to the, our head of land management. Along the mobile home facility, is there buffer there?
Well, I sort of visited there and I spoke to a couple of people here. They would like, the plan to include some, not necessarily a giant buffer, but definitely like some type of landscaping or something on this side too. But not, what we're talking about. This is really like the topography doesn't even, you really are talking about
It's a big slope.
a lot of clearing. It's great for drainage, potentially, natural drainage. But putting drainage infrastructure in open space is not allowed. So you have to have a separate set aside. But you could probably use this as a natural drainage area and then push the development sort of in this area here. And then still put, trees or something. And I'm not saying that all the number that they're proposing would fit. You have to come to a design that makes sense.
Just as of right, this is not in the APOD.
No.
So if it was built as of right, everything could get cleared
Well,
on each individual lot.
It's not in the Aquifer Protection Overlay District, but you're talking about if it was built as of right, it would be 1 acre lots. So each lot would be 1 acre with a house on it. But you could clear your lot, technically, yes.
So the whole thing could be cleared.
17, I guess 16 to 17.
16 or
lots.
17 individual lots.
1 acre lots.
16 to 17 1 acre lots. Well, look at these guys. They're all cleared.
Right, they could be fully cleared with, and then swimming pools and tennis courts, whatever, it can fit on an acre, yeah.
Janice, the area east of the parcel there, that was once a sand pit, and that what we're seeing with those pine trees are regrowth, and it's also been dug out, I guess, and that's kind of a man-made natural / drainage area.
Sort of,
Water is
it's
finding.
a deep hole.
It's
it's a
pretty
big,
deep.
drop. There's a big topography difference between here and here. Like if you were to walk on it, it's like a steep slope down.
Yeah,
on this
it's like
side.
a 30-degree slope,
Yeah,
25-degree slope.
It's direct.
Yeah, but that's, they're gonna do some grading in there, obviously.
Well, not if you don't want them to. I would recommend pushing off of here and not doing that.
Just leaving it.
Leaving it. And focusing the density here is what you could think about.
That's a recommendation of planning.
It is. The planning board recommends it and we recommend it too.
Just because it keeps coming up time and time again, what is the density at Spion Commons?
38 units.
38 units on Spion Commons, plus the retail. Spion Commons is 38 units plus retail.
Remember that Spion Commons is different because it was a transit oriented next to the train. It had a VB. Half of it was zoned VB already, and you did MF 44, and it had no open space because it was.
But the density there is greater than 6 units per acre.
It's basically 4 acres there, so it's about 10 units an acre.
It's much more, but the way that it is it's a different
zoning.
Different lot, different zoning.
Sandy
different
Hollow's
context.
about 12 units an acre, which is, it's basically 28 units
They're
on
asking only 6 units an acre here, which is what we said. You were not even going to elect to consider it if they didn't. So that's good. Now it's all about the open space, the woods, and designing it to fit in its context if you want to do it. So to do that, you need a 25% set aside without, that's an MFPRD. That's 6 units per acre, what we would want. So, over here could be that, 25%. Then this is like a bowl, for lack of a better term. And so you could fill that in, but it's really, there's some habitat there that you could stay away from and cluster it, up here and over here. And we can work out the number that would fit there, and then everybody sort of, you lower the density, you get some open space, you still get workforce housing, people are less disturbed, less traffic, so there is still maybe another alternative.
Could that bowl be the 25% open space set aside?
it could, if they don't want it, would they really, it's great for passive drainage. If you can't use drainage or put any infrastructure leading to it in an open space.
Yeah, and it's
So
a sand pit.
they would want to use it for drainage, or otherwise it becomes prohibitively expensive to put all the drainage here. You know, they're trying to drain into this, but they're putting, you know, we could figure it out with some more design work, I think.
All right, I'll,
But you could,
I want to get back to the public. So.
sure.
Janice, I do have a question about what's happening on the south part of this parcel. This is a large parcel, and there's going to be another piece
Stubbles.
subdivided.
Stubbles,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay. There are a number of businesses on that property. There's a water body on that property. Is there anything in conjunction with this application happening with that parcel? Or
Well,
is
the
it just gonna
planning
be-
board would like to see some rhyme and reason, because a subdivision would trigger some site plan review here.
Yes.
To which Mr. Bennett has agreed that there would be some potential, and the planning board knows that it's proper for them to want to see some of these truck bodies and things that have been sitting there for 40 years to be moved or removed. So there's some opportunity here to get a better site plan. I don't know if you've been by there lately, but you really, I think they've even done some things without us really knowing, because there's like a wall. You can't really see past it here when you're here, but this is all, it's all kind of jumbled, I guess, and it would be nice to say, okay, here's our outdoor storage, here's our truck bodies, here's what we're doing, and, figure this out a little better.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Let's get back to the public, and we can come back to Janice if we need to. Did
Phil
Charles,
is next.
did we lose the gentleman that was up before, or?
Yes.
Okay.
He's the husband of.
Okay, Bill, Bill, give us your last name?
Altman, A-L-T-M-A-N.
All right, thanks, Bill. You have 3 minutes.
Okay, great. I'm not gonna rehash what everything everybody else has said. I'm in total agreement with that. I recently bought on Carwin Lane as well. One of my main concerns is the traffic, especially at South Country and Montauk. Making that turn is almost impossible to turn against traffic. You only can turn with traffic. And in the summertime, the amount of traffic on South Country and the speed of the people on South Country is dangerous already. Adding the additional cars, the additional transportation, the school buses for the kids will become a real issue, in my opinion. That's all I wanted to say.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Stephen Guilford.
All right, yeah, I remember Stephen.
Just get out of the pool?
There it is.
Hey, Stephen.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
You can. You seem to be walking while you're zooming.
No.
Oh, there you
go. So my name's Steve Jeffrey. I live in Spionk, just a few houses away from the Spionk Commons. The main point I wanted to make, I guess, is that, you know, I know no matter where we try to put these housing units, you know, there's going to be neighbors and they're going to be against it. But we really need this to happen, you know, like the shortage of workers and there's, you know, nowhere for anyone to live. I mean, the cheapest house in the area is over $1 million. Like, there's really nothing for people to move to. I mean, I realize the concerns. You know, I think it could be addressed with screening. I think, I guess the biggest thing with the schools is, why did half the units have to be 2 bedrooms? Why couldn't they be 1 bedroom units? Because I know that, at least in the Spionk Commons, if it's a 1 bedroom unit, they only allow 2 people to live there. So unless it's a single parent, that kind of means that there are no kids going to the school. So maybe, you know, considering changing some of the units to 1 bedroom instead of 2 bedroom would sort of address that, you know, and what you guys kind of said is, everyone's saying, you know, they like it the way it is, but no matter what, they're gonna put houses there, right? It's whether they're affordable or whether they're similar to what they did on Corwin Lane and just put, you know, I don't know, $2 million houses. and they're gonna clear the whole thing anyway, so I think that, this is just a great opportunity to, sort of fix that, have, everyone can have their buffer, we could, you know, we need these people in the community, when you call a plumber, you want someone to come and fix your pipes, right? Like, that plumber can't necessarily afford the $2 million house on Corbin Lane. They need a place to live. And I guess, you know, if not here, where? Because I'm sure the next property that's proposed is going to have neighbors that also don't like it. So I guess just, yeah, I really feel like there's got to be sort of spread out through the town, but I guess I always thought it would be nice of the town to say, you know, we need this many units throughout the town, and then sort of have it earmarked and say, well, in Quiet, we're going to have this many, in Southampton, we're going to have this many, so that it ends up being fair. So I really appreciate your guys' time. Thank you for letting me speak.
Thanks, Steve. Thanks.
Thank you.
It says Beth Wallace, but it's not Beth Wallace.
All right, I see you, sir. Can you just identify yourself if you can hear me?
Michael Wallet.
Michael? Okay. Wallet? Can you spell?
Wolloch, Wallet.
Got it, Wallet. All right, Michael, you have 3 minutes?
Thank you, sir. Thank you, board. My name is Michael Wallet. I have a home at 36 Homestead Avenue in Queog, behind Strebels and East West Lane, which house now mobile homes. My concern, as been mentioned before, is the traffic, which has become exceedingly worse in the last 5 years that I've had a home on that street. Not only that street, but also the vortex at South Country Road and Montauk Highway is a very, very dangerous area. That being said, my concern is also on Homestead, as that is a major cut through for many, many trucks in the mornings and in the afternoons. If I'm going to have a large contingency of homes built behind me, I am for sure going to recognize that there'll be more traffic on Homestead Avenue. The area itself is large, yet I believe that you're going to jam all these people into that area, and it's going to cause a huge cluster. That cannot be remedied. Just too many people going into a small area. I will end with, I believe, Mark Twain's quote, "You can't put a square peg into a round hole." Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That is it.
That's it, okay. Back to Town Hall here. Is anyone who wanted to speak who did not fill out a card? This is not a second round. If you've already spoken, you've spoken, but is somebody who has not spoken? Okay, I don't, is Janice, any reason we need to leave it open? Are we waiting for comments from anybody else?
We got planning commission and planning board reports. So
We've got everything.
this would then, I think, the comments here tonight would have to be incorporated. They had already submitted sort of a draft comment response, which I was confused by because I knew we knew we were having this. So they just need, but they didn't, we didn't do anything with it because we're waiting for this. So now they should incorporate the responses to these comments.
We
Okay.
can close the hearing,
We can
though,
close
we
the
can
hearing.
close both the oral and the written record, correct?
Correct. And they
Alright.
would respond to this night and all the other stuff.
All right, I will make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second?
Seconded by Councilor Scavone. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, abstentions? Okay.
Thank you.
The hearing is closed. Okay, that is the last public hearing. We do have public portion next. I ask if you are exiting to just do so quietly so the board can continue on with its other business. Is Doug Kirk here? Doug Kirk, I have you for public portion.
I didn't get my notes here.
Take your time. There's people exiting anyway. I won't start the clock.
Hopefully they're not going to listen, stay for me. It's not that bad.
When you wait 1 second, we won't start the clock yet.
We'll make sure there's no one here to hear you.
Yes. Yes.
It's a warbler.
The woods house bald eagles, and the bird that's endangered is called Chuck Will's widow.
Chuck Will's widow.
Chuck dash Will's WILL''S dash widow.
Cool.
It's nice to meet you, Mr. Kirk.
The New York Heritage Program says
Oh,
read there
likewise.
that they're critically
You and I got to chat. Thank you. Hopefully.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, sorry about that, sir.
Thank you, Town Board.
You may
My name
begin.
is Doug Kirk. I live at 28 Anchor Road in Noyak. I've lived there for the past 25 years with my wife, Victoria. Over the last 3 years, my neighbor has taken it upon themselves to empower their kids to ride on their very small property with ATVs and dirt bikes. I've complained extensively to the police and code enforcement because this is naturally an infringement on our right to our enjoyment of our property. When the police arrive, I've been told that it's not their responsibility to rectify the issue. They have no power, and then sometimes they'll just leave and won't even address the problem. When I talk to code enforcement, I am told that they have noise meters to measure the sound that goes above 65 decibels. I myself have over 200 videos of this on my phone measuring decibels above 65 decibels. I'd be happy to share one with you.
Okay, just sorry to interrupt. So what portion of town are you living in?
Noyak.
Noyak?
Yes.
And I don't want to give your address out, but, and the kids riding the ATVs or dirt bikes are not on your property?
No, they're next door to me.
On parkland?
No, they're on their property.
Private property?
Yeah, yeah. But it's a noise issue for me. So my question to the board at this point is, why don't police have noise meters, given that the code enforcement won't operate within the hours or show up to take the measurement? And secondly, if we can ban gas-powered leaf blowers, why can't we ban gas-powered dirt bikes and ATVs? And I'd like to put that in front of the board to amend the code in order to do that.
The address of the neighbors?
Do you want to do that on the record?
He's
Why don't you
already
do that?
did it.
Seth?
He already did
it once.
Yeah.
Already did. Yeah.
I have my property. I told you where I live, but I can give that off some other time.
That's fine.
So that's my where I'm.
Have
where I'm
you
here.
had conversations with your neighbor?
That ship has sailed.
Okay.
The board should know that Mr. Kirk is in active conversations, communication with our code enforcement director, Mr. Murphy, as well as myself. I mean, we've just started communicating.
I simply want some, my wife and I would like to enjoy the peaceful, our right to our peaceful enjoyment of property. This has been going on for 3 years now. And but I suffer from anxiety, and I have high blood pressure, and this isn't helping. It damages the value of my house. There's the ongoing, we work from home, so there's noise that emanates and gets in the way of our just trying to make a living. It's not cheap living here. We can't go out on our deck. The property is literally, our bedroom is 10 feet from their property, and they have a very long property they've turned into a dirt bike track that goes like this. So, I don't mind that people have fun and they should enjoy it, but when it infringes on my rights to just peacefully enjoy my property, I have to step up and do something. And I can't believe I'm even here addressing this with you, and it's gotten this bad. I think anybody could come, and I welcome you to come to my property and after school and sit down and experience it. Again, I have over 200 videos measured on my phone with going above the 65 decibels, which I think is a vague law to begin with because it's a nuisance. And the laws, and it's written in the code that you can ride an ATV and a dirt bike on your private property. I don't know why. But then you're left with the noise measurement as a deterrent. And so when I pursued noise abatement, I am in this roundabout between the police and code enforcement, which is completely dissatisfactory because nobody's taking responsibility. I've given multiple suggestions on how to fix this. Electric, you could just say use electric, don't use gas. You could ban gas altogether. You could empower the police to have noise meters. Train them. Do a pilot project. Train the 2 cops who are always in my neighborhood and come and measure. Because they have come. Officer Lauren and Officer Giambione, I've gotten to be good friends with them. They want to help. But they don't have any means by which to do that. So code enforcement has sitting the meters in their cars are not being used. All right? Police are coming, have no recourse in order to satisfy my, ask around for, peace and quiet. So I think this needs to be looked at pretty hard.
Can I ask, your neighbor, is it farmland or?
It's residential property.
It's just a residential property?
Yeah.
In terms of you working on this, right, with Ryan?
Recently, yes.
Yeah, I emailed you and you passed it to
Code enforcement.
Code enforcement,
Yeah.
and that started the path down. And then I emailed Mr. Scavone, who was nice enough to reply. And
I probably passed it to the police as well.
They're sick of me.
Yeah.
Approximately how big is the adjacent property?
It's very long and narrow. I'd say it's probably half an acre, but
A little more, I think it's 0.6 or something like
0.6,
that,
but
it's long and narrow.
It's very narrow. It's just unique.
So it's
because
right
it
up
rides from the
next to
street
it.
all the way down past the property next to me. The other thing I'll add is I'm told that you need 3 people in your community or your neighborhood to complain as well. Well, the neighbors at the top end of the property are scared of my neighbor and they don't want to get involved, or they're just like they're ignoring it. And then we're positioned in a manner that we're the only ones who really suffer, because there's actually town land behind us that separates us from the rest of the properties. They don't go on that land, but it's just that we're just in a very unique space. It's a totally unique situation.
I've heard that rule about 3, but that's not true.
Thank you.
Yeah, there's no.
The cops keep telling me, and so the cops don't understand. Code enforcement doesn't understand, and I don't think anybody really has a good handle on what can be done. So I'm asking the town board to look at it from another perspective and say, well, and believe me, I think I know that dirt bikes are an issue in the community. So there's plenty of ways to fix that. You can ban them. You can make them go electric. I mean, you've set the precedence with with the lawn leaf blowers. So it seems like an easy fix to do that. Look, if I had communication with my neighbor, I would offer her to buy an electric dirt bike. It's gotten that bad. $1,000 to make it go away. But I don't think that they would even take that up because they like making noise. I think she likes annoying me now. But there's solutions to this, I think, within the town board. Creatively, I'm ready to work with you. But I am at a point where it's completely unfair. I am entitled, my wife and I are entitled to live in the peaceful enjoyment of our property. And that's all we ask. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We should get some clarification on the noise meter situation, because I hear that a lot in other parts of town. You know, for parties on Saturday night, for fireworks, this, that, and the other thing, that they do want 3 people to call, and who has the meter that night.
And I understand that was originally designed to more for construction noise. That's what I think the law was put in first, and then is being used for other situations that maybe don't fit well.
Nightclubs.
Can I have one thing to that?
And not from the back there. If you want to speak again, I'll bring you back up to the podium. Yep.
Also for commercial operations, there's different code for commercial and residential.
I think it's definitely worth looking
Thanks for
at.
letting me hear me out on this point.
Having
Code
experienced
enforcement
it
has told me, like, when they did come and tried to check, the kids saw them and stopped, right? Because they went in front of the house and they saw them and they just stopped. And then, so that was obvious. And the code enforcement came the next day, sat in my yard, and they didn't do it because it was obvious. So They saw like, the code enforcement car. Code enforcement then tells me that when they put the meter up, say, oh, it has to be for 2 minutes solid, going above the decibel level. And that's not in the code. And it's not 2 minutes solid. It's 2 hours going up like this and up like that and up like this, down and up, which is even more maddening because you're anticipating it. And they gun it and it goes to 70. Again, I have it on my phone. It goes to 70, 75, then it goes down to 53 because they go up there. Then they come racing back across my property. They have an ATV and a dirt bike, racing back on my property, and it goes above 70. So it's not consistent. So it's like people don't want to take responsibility. It's like they want to do the least amount of work. It's unbelievable. I'm in this like, you know, it just goes in a big circle. I feel like, I don't know. So I just wanted to make that point as well. That, you know, I really, really think that I implore you to look at this problem. Because I guarantee you, I think I'm not alone in this when I mention that. But I really, you know, if there's anything that you could do, I'd greatly appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, Charles, is there anyone online who wishes to be heard in public portion? No hands? If you're watching online and you want to speak in public portion, this is your opportunity. You just gotta click that raise hand icon. All right, I'll make a motion to close public portion.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Bouvier. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. 2 resolutions. Let's see, we are starting with 442, and that's yours, John.
Town Board Resolution 442 of 2023 is accept award, and authorize the supervisor to execute any and all documents for the New York State Energy Research and Development Authority, NYSERDA, Clean Energy Community Program for the purchase of an electric vehicle, $15,000.
Second. Second by Councilman McNamara. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Approved.
Town Board Resolution 443 of 2023, co-sponsored with Councilman Martell and Councilwoman McNamara, authorized change in scope for 2021 Mill Pond Aquatic Habitat Restoration Water Quality Grant for electrofishing survey.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Martell.
Electrofishing.
Yeah, that's for Mill Pond. It's the carp harvest. That's the way that.
I have mixed feelings about this one, honestly, but
It's part of the plan.
I know this has to do with carp removal, and they're trying to figure out whether there actually is carp there.
Yeah.
And so we're spending, what, $11,800 to figure out whether there's carp there, because the last time they went in there with
They
the
didn't
nets, they
catch
couldn't
any.
find, they didn't catch any.
Yeah, well, the timing is what's important. That's the time of year you do this. Last time it got delayed, so it's all part of this, the whole plan for Mill Pond. If it's not done,
So they're going in there with,
they're stunning fish.
they're stunning, the fish are stunning.
They're
but-
stunning fish that are getting
Stunning-
stunned.
From a stunning councilman. So, no, the fish die, right? They get electrocuted, they
Yes.
float up to the surface, so there's.
Well, they're
it's not like a
invasive
ta- it's not like a
species there. They're
taser.
not meant to, they're not there naturally to begin
They're
with.
not getting tasered, they're getting electrocuted.
I
All
guess
right.
dynamite's out of the question.
It's crossed a few minds.
They could take care of every problem in Mill Pond.
They know what they're doing.
And this is a trustees project?
Yes.
And you guys all want it?
Yeah, it's
All right, we have a motion, and who was the second?
Second. Rick.
Seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And I'll reluctantly, aye, too. All right, so that's approved. 444 of 23, authorized purchases from Omnia Partners contracts with Lowell's Home Centers LLC.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman
Scavone.
Scavone. I'm sorry. I'm still thinking
Still
about
studying fish.
I'm still thinking about using CPF water quality money to electrocute fish.
Well, just don't put your feet in the water when they're doing it.
Whether I
that's
think
all.
that's a good use of CPF funds, I don't know, but anyway.
It
I was so-
actually
I was-
is, just to clarify, it
I
actually
was so
is part of a very well
I had to
laid
have
out.
John, I had to get John's okay on this.
I was so stunned.
I said, John, are we really doing this? He said, yes, it's a
Yeah,
good thing.
It is a good thing.
I was so stunned and shocked. I couldn't think of Councilman Schiavone's name. Even though we worked together, how many, 7 years? About 6 years?
Yeah,
All right.
thereabouts.
All right, are we up to 445?
Yes.
Yes.
444, what was that?
We need a vote on 444.
444, I have it if we voted, but
We
all in
voted, I
favor?
voted.
Aye.
Approved. All right, 445 of 23, authorized purchases from Omnia Partners contracts with WESCO Distribution, Inc.
Second.
Second by Councilman Bouvier. All in favor?
Aye. Town Board Resolution 446 of 2023, co-sponsored with Councilwoman McNamara, is authorize the supervisor to sign a contract extension for acceptance of Town Southampton North Sea landfill leachate wastewater with Clear Flow Technologies Incorporated.
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman McNamara. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved.
Town
No,
Board
no
Res-
stunning involved.
Town Board Resolution 447 of 2023, authorize supervisor to sign a contract extension for pavement repair with Rosemar Contracting Incorporated.
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman McNamara. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved.
Town Board Resolution 448 of 2023, we're going to withdraw.
All right, will the clerk note that resolution has been withdrawn by the sponsor?
Yes.
All right, you showed inspiration, I think on 449 of 23, I will withdraw. This is authorizing supervisor to sign contract with Nelson and Poe for professional services related to HVAC improvements and solar photovoltaics at the Waste Management Administrative Building.
Town Board Resolution
So
450.
just, hold on, just want to make sure the clerk has that as, I'm withdrawing that resolution. All right, go ahead, Cindy.
Town Board Resolution 450 of 2023, authorize supervisor to sign DPP with Toshiba America Business Solutions, Inc. for copy machines from Eastern Suffolk BOSI's contracts.
Second.
All right, that's a deferred purchase plan, that's what the DPP is, and I'm seconded by Councilman Martell. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved.
Town Board Resolution 451 of 2023 is to authorize the purchase from Delisle Concrete Corp. for ADA improvements at Emma Elliston Park from a Suffolk County DPW contract.
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman McNamara, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 452 of 2023, co-sponsored with Councilwoman McNamara, is to authorize the supervisor to execute, I think it's an error there, to execute an intermunicipal agreement, IMA extension with Town of Islip for acceptance through the town's commingled containers obtained through its recycling program.
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman McNamara, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved. 453 of 23, authorize the supervisor to sign a contract with Park Place Technologies LLC for hardware maintenance for town's police department.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Scavone, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved.
Town Board Resolution 454 of 2023, co-sponsored with Councilman Bouvier, authorize the supervisor to execute a 2023 stewardship agreements with Eva Aquino, Shanice Puguayas, Brandon Kelly, and Brian Carrillo to provide custodian services at Tiana Beach Activity Center.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Bouvier, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved.
Town Board Resolution 2023-455, co-sponsored with Councilwoman McNamara, is to authorize supervisor to execute a consulting contract extension with Pace Analytical Services to provide lab analysis services to the Department of Municipal Works, Division of Waste Management.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman McNamara, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved.
Town Board Resolution 456 of 2023, co-sponsored with Councilwoman McNamara, authorize the supervisor to execute a contract extension with Eagle Control Corp. as sole source provider for the supply of constant chlor briquettes to perform services and routine maintenance and SCADA upgrades to the constant chlorinator at the Hampton Bays Water District.
See, because you co-sponsor, all you have to say is second.
Seconded
Or
by
third,
Council-
depending on.
Seconded by Councilwoman McNamara. All in favor?
Aye.
Approved.
Town Board Resolution 457 of 2023, co-sponsored with Councilwoman McNamara, to authorize the supervisor to execute a contract extension with Waste Zero for the supply and distribution of garbage bags.
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman McNamara. All in favor?
Aye.
Approved. 458 of 23, authorize the supervisor to execute a contract with a part-time program coordinator for the Peconic Estuary Program.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Bouvier. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved. 459 of 23, authorize the supervisor to execute a no-cost extension of term of contract for the preparation of a climate action plan with the town of Southampton.
Second. This is the ramble that we just continue with no cost. They just need to finalize some of their numbers. And we've started
I know
public hearing on it.
they've started doing work,
Yes, we've actually started presenting.
presenting. How's that going?
The first one was a little off.
Yeah.
There was some technical issues, but we're getting there.
But we want to stick with this company?
Yes,
You're happy with their work?
I am.
Okay, so we had a second by Councilman Bouvier. All in favor?
Aye.
Approved.
Town Board Resolution 460 of 2023, authorize the supervisor to execute an extended service and maintenance agreement with Best Climate Control for the HVAC system located at the Central Garage Building.
Second.
Second by Councilman Scavone. All in favor?
Aye.
Approved.
Town Board Resolution 461, co-sponsored with Councilwoman McNamara. This authorizes the supervisor to sign a 2023 extension with Palmanock Environmental LLC for private municipal markets for the disposal services of municipal solid waste. We're cleaning house in municipal departments for this
Second.
town board meeting.
Second by Councilman McNamara. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved.
Town Board Resolution 462 of 2023, authorize the supervisor to sign a contract with Nursing Sisters Home Care, DBA Catholic Home Care, to provide expanded in-home services for the elderly program to the town of Southampton residents.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Scavone. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved. 463 of 2023, authorize the supervisor to sign an agreement with the Remsenburg Academy Association and Lawrence Andrea as it relates to a metal detecting project on the Academy grounds at 130 South Country Road, Remsenburg.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Bouvier. All in favor?
Aye.
Approved.
Town Board Resolution 464, 2023, award and authorize supervisor to sign a contract for a 2020 Eager Beaver 55 GSL-3 trailer.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman McNamara. All in favor?
Aye.
Approved.
Town Board Resolution 465 of 2023, I'm going to withdraw.
Would the clerk note that the sponsor of 465 is withdrawing the resolution?
Town Board Resolution 466 of 2023, award and authorize the supervisor to sign a contract for irrigation maintenance and repair with Coastal Commercial Property Management Incorporated.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman McNamara. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved.
Town Board Resolution 467 of 2023, award and authorize supervisor to sign contract for mobile concessions at Flying Point Beach, Pikes Beach, Foster Memorial Beach, and Sag Main Beach.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Scavone. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved.
Town Board Resolution 468 of 2023, award and authorize supervisor to sign a contract for portable toilet rentals with Call Ahead.
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman McNamara. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved. All right, 469 of 23, co-sponsored by Councilman Martell, award and authorize supervisor to sign contracts for tree and stump removal.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Martell, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved.
Town Board Resolution 470 of 2023, co-sponsored with Councilman Martell and Councilwoman McNamara's award, and authorize the supervisor to sign a contract with Lewis L. K. McLean Associates PC for professional engineering services for the development of a community park in Spionk.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Martell. We went through an RFP though, right? with
Yes.
this?
Mhm.
And they were selected.
They were.
Okay.
And then, so we'll have the community involved with the design phase as we go forward, so that everybody knows exactly what they're getting.
Now, when we call it a community park, in this case, though, we do mean active recreation.
Yes, yes, it is.
I just want to be clear, because it says right in the.
There will be ball fields.
It says right, this community park is ball fields. So, all right.
Well, it's our community, never mind.
So it's
Not funny.
There's a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, approved. 471 of 2023, recall and amend resolution number 2023-185, authorizing the supervisor to sign a contract with TK Elevator Corporation for preventative maintenance on elevators located at Flanders Community Center, Flanders, New York, and the Hampton-based Community Center, Hampton-based, New York. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman McNamara. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Approved. 472 of 2023, recall and amend resolution number 2023-204, authorizing the supervisor to sign an extended contract with Messiano Consulting, Inc. for grant writing assistance.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Scavone. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Approved.
Town Board Resolution 473 of 2023, recall and amend the resolution number 2023-206, authorizing the supervisor to sign an agreement with Briscoe Protective LLC for 1370 Majors Path, Southampton.
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman McNamara. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Approved.
Town Board Resolution 474 of 2023, recall and amend resolution number 2023-207, authorizing the supervisor to sign an agreement with Briscoe Protective LLC for 20 Jackson Avenue, Hampton Bays, New York.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Scavone. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Approved.
Town Board Resolution 475 of 2023, recall and amend Town Board Resolution 2023-385, purchase of skate park equipment and installation services at North Sea Skate Park from a Sourcewell contract with American Ramp Company.
Second.
What had the prices changed?
Yes.
Okay, not by much. So seconded by Councilman Martell. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Approved.
Town Board Resolution 476 of 2023, recall and amend Town Board Resolution number 2022-741, purchase of a new shade structure and installation services at Good Ground Park.
Second, and thank you.
And seconded by Councilman Martell, and I guess the price is also higher than we first thought.
Yes.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Approved.
Town Board Resolution 477 of 2023, recall and amend Town Board Resolution number 2023-200, authorizing the supervisor to execute the 2023 Youth Bureau agreements with Youth Bureau Programming Consultants.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Scavone. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Approved.
Town Board Resolution 478 of 2023, co-sponsored with Councilwoman McNamara, recall and amend Town Board Resolution number 2023-307, authorizing the purchase of meter pits and ancillary equipment from Core and Main LP using the Town of Riverhead contract.
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman McNamara. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Approved.
Town Board Resolution 479, co-sponsored with Councilman Scavone and Councilwoman McNamara, to authorize the supervisor to sign agreements for awards of community preservation, CPF, 20% water quality improvement projects to the Board of Trustees of the Commonalty of the Town of Southampton.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Scavone. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Approved.
Town Board Resolution 480 of 2023, the 2023 notice to bidders for used hydraulic excavator.
Second.
I'm sorry, second by Councilman Bouvier, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Approved. I was just looking at the water quality grants. All right, 481 of 23 amends the 2022 budget for various departments.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Bouvier, all in favor?
Aye.
Approved.
Town Board Resolution 482 of 2023, amend 2023 adopted budget for lighting districts.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Schiavone, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved. All right, 483 of 23 amends the 2023 adopted budget for fire prevention part-time salaries.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Schiavone, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved. 484 of 23 amends 23 adopted budget for police department.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Schiavone, all in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Aye. Approved. 485 of 23, co-sponsored with Councilman Martell, amends 23 budget and authorizes highway fund pay-as-you-go for purchase of Quonset huts.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Martell, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved. 486 of 23 amends the 23 through 27 capital budget for beach improvements and transfer from Park Reserve number 8.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Bouvier. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 487 of 2023, amend the 2023 to 2027 capital budget for park improvements.
Second.
This is for Elliston Park.
Elliston, yeah.
Seconded by Councilman Martell. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved.
Town Board Resolution 488 of 2023, accept resignations of John Roulette, Daria Roulette, and Geraldine Spinella from the Hampton Bays Citizens Advisory Committee.
Second.
Okay, seconded by Councilman Martell, who's also co-sponsor on this.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. And, all right, they're stepping down from the CAC. And Geraldine is involved with the Civic.
She's the new president of the Civic.
Yes, all right. All in favor?
Aye.
Approved. 489 of 2023 reappoints Julie Keys to Architectural Review Board.
Second. Second.
Second. Yep.
Second by
Tommy-
Councilman Schiavone, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Approved.
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 490 of 2023, we are withdrawing.
All right, that's the stop signs.
Correct.
We held the hearing, so you would like to withdraw the approving resolution. Madam Clerk, did you get that?
That's his last day.
Okay. All right, 491 of 2023 accepts resignation. Really?
Yeah.
You just got his title right.
I got his title right. Michelangelo Lieberman.
Senior planner.
I know. It's tough. I happen to like Michelangelo quite a bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
So he's senior planner in land management, very talented young man, and a real asset to our land management department. But he's also entitled to go and pursue other dreams and aspirations. So we'll miss him. But so I will reluctantly make a motion to accept his resignation.
Oh, I'll second, but I'd also like to thank Michael for all his work. He's been consistently driving us forward in a lot of environmental issues. He's been a rock star when it comes to many things, and he really will be missed.
Yeah, he's very not.
But I'm also, as you are, I'm
replaceable.
happy for him.
Yeah, sure.
And it, like, it's getting harder and harder to find really
Yes,
good,
it
talented people. And we were fortunate to have him work for us for these past few years. And now the planning department will have to find another senior planner. And
it leaves a big hole.
Same issues that we discuss about the lack of affordable housing. young people like Michelangelo, I don't know his personal financial situation, but, there's no salary that we're gonna be able to pay that's gonna allow somebody to buy a home in this area, in these professional jobs. And you ought to be able to buy a home, or rent a home on a decent salary as a, civil servant. I'm just saying that we gotta figure this out, because
I think in his point, I think
We
he
need
was offered a
people like
very
that.
unique opportunity.
Mike's not gonna solve the housing crisis, but I
it
will
just
say that I
underscore-
just.
Yeah, that's more global
It's such,
statement.
it's such a big issue downstairs where we're losing staff for those reasons, and some of them for those reasons, and others obviously other reasons, but,
The traffic
you
is
know,
also one of the
traffic, there's a
reasons.
whole
Well,
combination of
for
things.
Michael, he lives in a village, so he can walk to work, I think, but.
Oh,
for others-
he bicycles to work.
Yeah, for others, the traffic is a problem, but the traffic is also a symptom of the fact that we don't have housing that's affordable closer to where the jobs are.
But he'll be missed. I'll certainly miss him, 'cause, it's hard to go without his
Well,
counsel.
I'm sure Janice would.
Yeah.
All right,
I'd like to
so-
say, Michelangelo, you're a talented young man. We're sorry to see you go, but happy and proud that you're going on. So good luck to you,
Happy
sir.
trails.
No,
And he'll be here for another month.
Yeah.
He'll be here for another month.
He's gonna be successful
Yeah,
in whatever he
and there's
does.
a bunch of other people that are retiring too, and
Wait,
yikes.
another month? Thought
April
it was just a
28th.
few days. Oh, okay.
Right, it's March 28th, right?
Yeah.
I did the same
I'm
thing.
losing
You
track
might
of
have-
time.
but
I
he-
saw the 28th, and I thought that was his last
I thought it was
showing
the
at the
6th.
town
Yeah,
hall.
that's what I was
Yeah, but
thinking
he
too.
may have accruals that he's gonna burn down, so
Yeah.
I don't know how many more days
He's gonna actually be here, yeah.
So, anyway, but we'll miss you, Michael, so, good luck. I'm sure you'll be successful in whatever. it
Whatever
is.
he does, he will be.
All right, so, did we vote? All
No.
in favor?
Aye.
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 Approved. All right, 492 of 2023 accepts retirement of Michael Antonazio, Southampton Town Police Detective.
Second?
There.
A second by Councilman Roy.
Second.
Okay, and just on the motion,
I don't know.
so Detective Antonazio is retiring, so we certainly thank him for his service and wish him the best. And in the department, I know that we are just gonna be doing, maybe we already have a promotion to that position to detective, but to fill the post, but we certainly, as a board, wish Detective Antonazio the best in his retirement. So I'll call the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, approved. 493 of 2023 accepts retirement of, oh boy.
Yeah.
We gonna have anybody left working for us?
They're all retiring with you. Jim.
Really? 493 of 2023 accepts retirement of Richard McEwen, Water District Superintendent in Hampton Bays Water District.
Second?
Seconded, I have to say a few words. Seconded by Councilman Martell. So, running a water district is not easy. It's not easy at all. There's just so much you have to know besides being able to manage employees and give assignments and discipline people. You have to know the mechanics, how the motors work, how the plumbing and the pressure and the gauges work. And then you also have to know about things like emerging contaminants and pH levels and nitrate levels. And it's really gotten very complicated. And, Rich has been with the water district for a long time, and he rose up to the rank of the director, superintendent of the water district. And I think, during his tenure there, we started flushing, we doubled the frequency of flushing out the hydrants. We did an interconnect that was his idea to help with the pressure east of the canal. We did major capital projects from putting in iron and manganese filtration, to I think the GAC filters would be for him, but the canal crossings that we're doing, the Shinnecock Bay crossing, so much work has happened. And I've had to call out, there's been water main breaks, things happen at all crazy hours. I have questions for him, and he's been extremely responsive. And we've had really good morale with the employees there during his tenure. We cleaned up the water. It went from, rusty brown to crystal clear. We've improved the pressure. We've, successfully removed contaminants from the water supply. I think the guy gets really high marks, really high marks. I think he's done a great job, and I'm happy to say that on the record. I'm sorry to see you go. I know you got plans and, big things ahead, but we appreciate what you've done. That district came under a lot of pressure, a lot of community concerns came under pressure when there was little pressure, when there was no pressure, and particularly when the water was discolored. And I think Rich really helped solve a lot of these problems, came up with a lot of ideas and solutions. And I know I'm going on at length, but he deserves it because he really did put in the time. He went the extra distance to talk to anybody, anyone who had a complaint there. He personally would go and talk to them. He'd go to people's homes. He'd help them solve their problems. He went well beyond, just the normal, demands of, the head of the district. So thank you. Thank you, Rich, for doing a great job there. I'll accept your retirement, but, I wish you stayed. But, and we had a second. Anybody else want to talk about Rich?
Just real quick, we talk about losing key employees and everything, but Rich's leadership kept a lot of guys on staff who could have went to bigger and better jobs, and because everybody understood exactly what their role was, how important they were to the community, and that was all thanks to Rich. So enjoy your retirement. You deserve it.
When he came on, we were experiencing discolored water in Hampton Bays, very serious situation, and he started the 10-year capital program covering millions of dollars, and so that is well underway in Hampton Bays, and it was under his leadership. He's a real hands-on guy. Thank you, Rich, and good luck.
All right, anybody else?
No, you said it all. I totally agree with everything that's been said.
All right, I'll call the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, best of luck, Rich. All right, 494 of 2023, appoint Carlo DeVivo to drafter 2.
Second.
This is in the assessor's office. Second by Councilman Schivoni. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved. 495 of 23, appoints Tammy Wimpelberg to senior assessment assistant in the assessor's office.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Schivoni. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved. 496 of 23, appoints Christopher Flowers to assessment assistant.
Second?
Seconded by Councilman McNamara. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved. 497 of 23, appoints Craig Carroll to custodial worker 2, position in municipal works.
Second.
Second by Councilman Bouvier. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Approval. 498 appoints Joseph Fernandez to Fire Marshal 1 position in public safety.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Schivoni. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Approved. 499 of 23 appoints Maria Espinales to office assistant, Spanish speaking, from civil service list.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Bouvier. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Approved. 500 of 2023 appoints Montserrat Espinales to office assistant, Spanish speaking, from civil service list.
Second. Are they
Related?
related?
No.
Or is that?
I don't know, but is it in the same office? One is town
It's the same
controllers.
position.
They're both in the town controllers.
And they've both been serving provisionally. Oh, no. Yeah.
It's the same position.
23
Same position and the same, they've both been serving provisionally.
Do you think it might be,
It could be a duplication because of the first name is.
Yeah.
Cost centers are different, though.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I would say let's approve it and we'll sort it out
Okay, sounds like a plan.
if it's incorrect. All right, so, was there a second on 500?
Yes.
Who was it?
Me.
Okay, Councilman Bouvier, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Approved. All right, 501 of 2023 appoints Tricia Martinez to Office Assistant Spanish Speaking from Civil Service List.
Same second.
Second.
Um,
Either.
Which office is this?
Doesn't say the office.
Doesn't say, maybe,
Yeah.
I'm not sure they're all, these could
And they're
all
all,
be different.
they've all been serving provisionally.
These all
Right.
could be different offices, so
Yeah, I
I'm
don't
not
think any of them are going to control us. They're probably,
well, we have a lot of office assistants, so, okay, so it's,
I have a vacancy as well.
You have one
we're
too,
not going
so-
somewhere, maybe.
Whoa.
all right. And this is great that we're getting all these bilingual individuals, so, we had a second, who was the second, Johnny, were you again?
Sure.
On 501?
Yes.
All right, seconded by Councilman Bouvier, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved. 502 of 2023 appoints Nicholas Nolis to Maintenance Mechanic 1 position in Parks and Recreation.
Second?
Seconded by Councilman Martell, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved. 503 of 2023 appoints Robert Del Grande to Groundskeeper 1 position in Parks and Recreation.
Same second?
Seconded by Councilman Martell, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, approved, and congratulations to all those appointees. 504 of 2023, authorize police captain to attend Mid-Atlantic Leads Executive Development Seminar.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Scavone, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved.
Town Board Resolution 505 of 2023, notice of public hearing for the consideration of one-year agricultural use agreement for 2023-2024 pursuant to Chapter 247 of the Town Code.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Bouvier, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved.
Town Board Resolution 506 of 2023, resolution to set public hearing to consider granting a license to install a monitoring well at property located at 275 Beach Road, Hampton Bays.
Second?
Seconded by Councilman McNamara, so this is, who's installing it?
The Coast Guard
Okay,
on the property across from Ponquag.
okay. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, approved.
Town Board Resolution 507 of 2023, public hearing to amend Chapter 330-340 to 340-346, dark sky laws for enhanced enforcement language additions. They're minor amendments.
Second.
All right, seconded by Councilman Bouvier. So this would be, what, Tuesday, April 25th at 6 PM hearing. And you're saying they're minor,
They're minor. It has to do with enforcement, that we're changing the enforcement times from midnight to 10 PM to coincide with basically our noise ordinance so that you can have peace and quiet and see the night sky, and enforcement doesn't have to wait till after midnight to enforce things. Just made more sense.
so
This is all
motion
like-
sensors providing illumination for a maximum period of 10 minutes per triggering event. All right. All right, so that the lights don't stay on for more than 10 minutes each time
per
they're
event,
triggered.
yeah.
All right, that's reasonable.
This doesn't affect like the lights on the fields of Red Creek or
No,
anything, right?
no, it's all separate.
And nuisance lighting illuminates the interior of a neighboring residential structure from an external point.
Which is also an enforcement issue, because it's very easy, something that's very easy to document.
So if it puts light on the inside of a neighboring house?
Yes, It's a nuisance.
Yeah, I would agree. But that does happen. That happens to me, unfortunately.
Well, now you can call code enforcement.
I'm in the village.
I guess I
At
have
10
to,
p.m.
I guess I have to move my light then.
Yeah.
They're working on getting the village to amend their code to mirror this, so we may be able to call.
All right.
We have a vote.
All right, so there was a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I approve. Did I miss any other changes here? No, I think it's just the same, it's just those times. All right.
It just, the way I read it, it is helping with the enforceability.
All right, so I guess Tommy John, you're next, right?
Town Board Resolution 508 of 2023, a notice of public hearing to consider amending Town Code Article 14, exemption for members of voluntary fire departments and ambulance services of Chapter 298, taxation, to reduce the minimum service requirements and clarify partial exemption for property not used exclusively for primary residence. This
Second.
moves the exemption from 5 years, being in the fire or ambulance from 5 years to 2 years, which is kind of probation.
So right now, you can't get the tax exemption until after 5 years of service?
That's correct.
But you'll get it after 2 years?
Correct.
If we approve this. And the state has authorized that?
They have.
Okay, and this is on April 25th? All right, was there a second?
Yes.
Second by Councilman Bouvier?
Yes.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, approved.
Town Board Resolution 509 of 2023 is a notice of public hearing to accept a deed of residual fee from Blair K. Gaza for properties to be maintained as open space located at North Sea, Suffolk County Tax Map, as indicated in the resolution pursuant to Southampton Town Code Chapter 244-4, obtaining a development rights certificate, and Chapter 247, General Municipal Law of the State of New York.
Second?
Seconded by Councilwoman McNamara, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Approved, that's May 9th hearing, 1 PM. All right, I guess we're up to 510
Yes.
of 2023, which you guys are all co-sponsoring. Authorize acquisition of 127 and 137 Mary's Lane, North Sea, and to amend the Community Preservation Project Plan to include 137 Mary's Lane and amend CPF management stewardship plan to include the property. This is a $850,000 CPF open space acquisition.
Cedar White Swamps.
Yeah, along the White Cedar Swamp.
White Cedar Swamp, sorry.
Atlantic.
Atlantic White Cedar Swamp. The
As
North
opposed
Sea
to
Atlantic
Pacific,
White.
which I don't think it is.
So, all right.
Second.
This is a nice acquisition.
It is.
There is a house on one of the properties, I think that's getting removed.
My house, I think.
If I recall, I think that may be on us to remove
Yeah.
it.
That 850,000 probably.
Yeah.
Just a guess.
It's almost an acre, 0.88 acres. All right, so there was a motion and a second, I believe?
Yes.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
I was.
Councilman Bouvier seconded?
Aye.
All right, 511 of 20, you know what, I don't think there was a second before, you're right, Cindy. I started talking about the resolution right after.
No,
read
I
it.
seconded it.
Oh, you did?
I did.
All right, so a 511 of 2023, authorize the supervisor to accept surplus property from the county of Suffolk and convey access easements as it relates to the CPICEMPDD, also known as the Canoe Place Inn.
Second.
This was all part of the approved PDD. There was some surplus lands moving around, so seconded by Councilwoman McNamara. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved. And I guess that brings us to 512 of 2023, resolution of adoption, amending the grant of a conservation easement in connection with the subdivision map of JSC Resources, Inc. in West Hampton.
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman McNamara. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Approved.
waiting to do the walk-on?
Yeah, I'm getting there.
Okay.
Just reviewing that last resolution. All right, so to the walk-ons, 42912 is yours, John. You want to read that?
42912, co-sponsored with Councilman Scavone, authorized budget modification to the Community Development Block Grant Program for the fiscal year of 2019.
Second.
2019.
Yeah, that was because,
It just takes that long.
yeah,
The lighting project took forever.
took forever.
So we moved some money over to the skate park.
Correct. I mean, the project total was $5,000, so.
So the Grangeable Park project came in under, yes?
Yep.
Okay, so who's the second?
Me.
Second by Councilman Scavone, all in favor?
By the co-sponsor.
Okay, so that is approved. All right, 42929, this is warrant number 6, capital number 6, CPF number 6, and payroll liability.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Bouvier, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved. And lastly, 42930 terminates an employee in the finance office.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Scavone. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, approved. All right, that's it for the agenda. Is there any other business?
Nope.
Hearing none, I will make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Bouvier, all in favor?
Aye.
Adjourned. Thank you all.